For the children, life was really lived outdoors, and they used to have these really lovely sayings about, always going round the back, and that was their play area, and some of them didn't even know what the name of that street was. So for the children in particular, it was really life lived outdoors. So I'm Anna Cossu, and I look after Susannah Place Museum here in the Rocks. For nearly 150 years, it's had about 100 different families move through the houses. They're incredibly tiny. There's 6 rooms in all, so 2 bedrooms, a bathroom that's outside for the children. The backyards and the streets and the laneways were extensions of their houses in a way. So that's where their childhood was lived, and that got them out of underneath of mum's feet when she's out doing the washing in the backyard. So childhood here at Susannah Place would have been about adventure. I mean, you can just imagine children roaming this area. They used to go swimming in the harbour, fishing in the harbour, being outdoors pretty much until the sun went down, and then, in for dinner and to bed. Out in the streets there was the usual cricket and hockey. They used to do lots of running around the block and chasing, and so, a block would take them past all the pubs and things and houses in the area. Some of the children were lucky enough to have dads who could build them billy carts out of, bits of timbers and old pram wheels and a bit of rope. And there's some great sloping streets around here. So Argyle Street, apparently that was one of the ones where, kids would just zoom down to George Street. And then other children had scooters and bicycles. And then they also talk about having games. So, and I suppose with multiple children, games are probably more practical because then all the children can play together. So Ludo, snakes and ladders and things like that. Tea sets were really common here. So, the tea parties happened outside. There were makeshift packing case boxes for the table. They didn't have all the furniture and accessories, but they had the cups and saucers. Children, if they were part of a big family, always shared bedrooms, and most of the children, when they were first born, until they were about a toddler, really slept in their parents' bedroom in a cot or little bed or something like that. And then later on, as they grew up, it was quite common that the children shared bedrooms, shared beds, so they didn't really have a lot of what I suppose children today have, which is personal space. And then of course there was the KGV, King George V Memorial Playground. And it was a playground that was set up in the mid-1930s, and it was actually a way of the council trying to keep youth off the street and children off the street. It had basketball, racquetball. There's a fantastic photo of one of their opening events, and obviously all the girls in the neighbourhood, and maybe some boys, brought along their dolls. I think the world of imagination is something that I suppose crosses any childhood. And even if they didn't have much, their imagination allowed them to have a world of everything in a way. And just like children today, often it's a cardboard box that's more exciting than the actual toy. But that's not to say their childhood wasn't sad, and it wasn't to say that their childhood was happy. But when we interview the people who used to live here, they often tend to talk about those happy times. There was domestic violence in the houses, the families split up, but it was quite a strong community here. There was a great sort of tribe of kids in this area.